Hello everybody, William Stiles here. I want you to watch this presentation that I did recently talking about the problem that we all have, how our money is disappearing and how it's happening, why it's happening, and what we can do about it. Most importantly, I give you a solution to where how we can take advantage of the current situation and we can all make a lot of money together. So just go ahead and sit back, enjoy the video, and I'll see you on the other side. Hello everybody. We have a problem. We all have a very big problem. And here's what it is. Our money's value is disappearing. It's disappearing every single day. The value of our money is going down. What we can buy with our money is going down every single day. But don't worry, I have a solution for you. I have a solution in this video. Now, the reason why our money's value is disappearing is because we have both high inflation and low returns. This high inflation and this low returns combined together takes the value of our cash that we've worked so hard for, and it just eats away at it. So today, I am going to show you how you can earn 18% interest on your money safely, securely, and consistently. But who am I? So I'm William F. Stiles. I'm 46 years old. I bought my first house when I was 19 years old. I've been involved in over 1,000 real estate transactions here in Marion County, Florida. I currently own 25 rental properties. I've borrowed and paid back millions of dollars from private lenders to date. I'm the owner of Iron Shield Electric Company, Iron Shield Heating and Air, Iron Shield Plumbing, Iron Shield Construction, Wholesale Gutters, and Mr. Ocala Buys Houses. I'm also a licensed general contractor here in the state of Florida. I've got the necessary experience to help you get a good and safe return on your money. Because again, we got a problem and our money's losing value, and we all need to find a way to not lose our purchasing power. So here's some testimonials that some of my private lenders have given me. We got Vincent here in Ocala. He wrote, I've loaned money to William Stiles for the past 5 years to do his real estate deals. It has added up to be in the millions of dollars of loans. William has paid me on time religiously, and it has even paid me in full when the situation arises. I highly recommend William Stiles as a safe place to lend money and a great place to earn a phenomenal interest rate. Now we got Tony. So we got Anthony here in Ocala. William Stiles and his real estate investment company has borrowed money from me since 2019. I find William to be honorable and a man of his word. I have received an excellent interest rate on my loans with him, and I have felt extremely comfortable along the way. If anyone is looking for a safe place to earn an excellent interest rate, William Stiles and his construction company is as good a bet as any. And we have Judy here in Ocala. I've known William for over a decade, and I have found him to be a man of integrity, and I do not say that lightly. William has borrowed money from me to complete numerous real estate projects over the years, and I have always been happy with the experience. I've received a great rate of return, and I've always felt safe in the process. So here I've shown you 3 lenders who have received great rates of return and have been able to help protect themselves from the loss of their purchasing power and the money losing value. But I want to make a deal with you. So let's make a deal. Now, I can show you how to make money, but let's do more than just make money. Let's do more than just get a greater return on our cash. So let's make the world a better place. I do ask that you pass it on. Use it to help other people around you. So why are we making the money anyway? Okay, fine, you're making 18% on the money, but what are you going to do with it? Right? So you're going to just buy more stuff for yourself? Yeah, let's do that. Let's take care of our families. Let's keep our standard of living, but let's pass it on. Let's use it to help the people around us. Let's help make the world a better place. So you probably have some questions for me, such as, how could you possibly afford to pay 18% interest? So on one hand, yeah, 18% interest is a lot of money, and it's just a lot. It really is. And so, most people would not be able to do that, but I'm a general contractor in Florida and I'm building houses, and there is so much profit in building a house that even when paying 18% interest, there's still a tremendous amount of profit left over. So that's what I call a win-win, to where you're getting a high rate of interest. I am getting the profit on building and selling a house, or building a house, refinancing it, and putting a tenant in that house and holding it for the long term. Do you guarantee that interest rate in writing? Yeah, of course I do. We put it in writing. If you loan me money to build a house with it, you will not only get your principal back, but you will also get the 18% interest in writing. Now keep in mind, I don't necessarily want to pay 18% interest. I would love to pay, 7% interest, 8% interest, 9% interest. But the reason why I'm offering 18% is to entice people who have never met me before, who don't know the name William Styles. Now, obviously, for the people who do know me and know my character and have done business with me, to them it's a no-brainer as far as being able to lend, and they would be willing to accept less than 18%. But the idea behind offering 18% interest is for someone who's never done business with me, they don't know who I am or my integrity, and so this gives them the high rate of return for doing business with somebody they've never met. So what are the risks? Now, in my mind, there really aren't any risks. You're secured by real estate. Ocala, Marion County is a growing and expanding area. I'm able to build houses for far less than what the going rate of sales are. So in my mind, there are no risks. But, maybe there are too, right? So the risks that could potentially happen is, maybe I pass away. So if I get hit by a bus next week, then there's a risk of, okay, who's going to finish this project? And obviously I have contingencies in place. I have a team around me that would still make sure that projects got finished and your loans paid back with your interest. You're always secured by real estate. So that's a risk. The real estate market could crash, right? So, but it's different when the real estate market crashes, different than the stock market, because the stock market could lose 20%, 30%, 40% in one day. The real estate market's not going to do that. Even if a real estate market loses 50%, it's going to be over a long period of time, like a 3-year period of time. So essentially, month to month, the prices of houses may go down 2 or 3%, but you're not losing 10, 20, 30% in a day. And with the amount of profit that's built into new construction deals, it would take, in my opinion, a year or two of just the market declining to get to the point where even you're breaking even on a new construction deal. So there's plenty of profit on new construction deals. I plan on not being run over by the bus soon, but I do need to say, yes, there are some risks, but this is about as risk-free of a loan that somebody investment. So let's go back to the problem. So the problem, high inflation. Yes, inflation's super high. And also low returns. That creates a double whammy. Your money is losing value. The money's value is disappearing every day. So the first problem is the inflation. So what is that? The price of everything is going up. That's inflation. Inflation is a silent killer. How has inflation changed the price of a cup of coffee over the past 50 years? Look at this graphic. 1970, a cup of coffee was 25 cents. And then it went up to 45 cents, and then 75 cents, then $1, then $1.25, then $1.75. That's inflation. So if you had 25 cents in 1970, you bought a cup of coffee, and you had that same 25 cents in 1980, you can no longer buy a cup of coffee. You can't. You can no longer buy a cup of coffee after 1970 for 25 cents. And so now, I go to the coffee house now, you're looking at least $2-3 for a cup of coffee. So that's the price of everything. So if you had, money and you just put it under your mattress and you woke up 10 years later and you pulled it out, you're not buying the same amount of stuff. You're just not. If you took a quarter in 1970, you bought a cup of coffee for it, and you say, you know what, I've got a second quarter, I'm going to put it under my mattress, I'm going to wake up in 1980, pull it out and go buy a cup of coffee with it. It's not going to happen, okay? Your money lost value. between 1970 and 80. Now, you want to make sure that you're investing your money to beat inflation. Otherwise, it's going to be worthless. Listen, inflation is making your money less valuable. So what you choose to do with your money has got to beat inflation. If it's not beating inflation, it's losing value. And none of us want to lose value. None of us want our money to lose value. So, but where? Where do you put your money to beat inflation? So that's a question that you would have, and that leads me into problem number 2. You got your bank accounts and CDs. So you put your money into like even a high yield CD, and you look here, it says 1% for Bank of America. Maybe it's higher right now, possibly, 1 or 2 or 3, but it's still not beating inflation. It's absolutely not beating inflation. So you put your money in a bank and you're losing value. You are losing value. So, for example, if you have $100,000, and even if you're getting 4% interest, you're making $4,000 for a year on that 4%. That's great. But what if in that same year, your $100,000 lost 8% to inflation? So, you might, on one hand, the bank's paying you $4,000 in interest, but on the other hand, when you go out and try to spend that money, your money's lost $8,000 to inflation. So the bottom line is your money is becoming worthless. It is losing value. You're losing purchasing power. So what is purchasing power? Purchasing power means that $100,000 today can buy you $100,000 worth of stuff. Okay? At 4% interest, 1 year from now, that same 100,000, you'll have 104,000. So that means you'll have your 100 grand plus your 4% interest, you'll have $104,000. But that $104,000 1 year from now will only buy you $96,000 worth of stuff in today's world. Are you following that? At 4% interest, 1 year from now, you'll have $104,000. Your bank account will say you have more money. But in the real world, when you go to the store, that $104,000 would only buy you $96,000 worth of stuff in today's world. You, my friend, are becoming poorer by the day. Your money is becoming worthless and able to buy less and less over time. That's the fact. I hate it. I didn't create it, and I don't like it, but it's something we all have to deal with. We are all becoming poorer by the day. Our money is becoming worthless and able to buy less and less and less over time. That's why we have to find ways to use our money that pay us in greater numbers than the rate of inflation. And truth be told, you can't believe the publicly stated rate of inflation, because a lot of people say it's higher than what's being stated. Let's just put it that way. So I want you to look at this next slide. So let's just say in year 1 you had $100,000 and you received $4,000 in interest, but your money lost $8,000 to inflation. That means at the end of year 1, you really can only buy $96,000 worth of stuff. Even though your bank account says 104, you can only buy $96,000 worth of stuff. But let's just say you went into a year 2. Now you have you can buy $96,000 worth of stuff. 4% inflation, 4% interest on that would add $3,840. But if you lose 8% to inflation again, now your purchasing power is down to $92,160. So at the beginning of year 3, you have $92,160 worth of purchasing power. You add 4% to it, which is $36.86. You lose 8% to inflation, and now your purchasing power is only $88,474. And finally, year 4, you have $88,474 in purchasing power. You add 4% for interest, but you deduct 8% for inflation. You've only got $84,935 in purchasing power. So you're talking about a 4-year stretch. If you're earning a 4% return on your money, but you're losing 8% to inflation, that means the prices of everything around you is going up by 8%. Who cares if you're getting a 4% interest rate if the prices of everything is going up by 8%? And do you really think, do you eat? So I just a quick question, do you eat? Because if you eat or pay for insurance or do anything. If you exist and live in this world, I'm telling you right now, prices are going up more than 8%. So if you're getting a 4% return, you're getting poorer every day. And now listen up on this. Even though the number of dollars in your accounts may be going up, the number of dollars in your bank account could be going up. But the amount of stuff that you can buy with those dollars is going down. Yeah, you got 100,000 in the next year. Oh, I got 104. And the next year, oh, I got 108. And the next year, 112, 116. You're like, well, I'm feeling rich, right? No, because even though 4 years later, you may have $116,000 in your checking account, the number went up. But the stuff you can buy with that 116 is less than what you can buy today. You, my friend, are getting poorer, and so am I. So who cares? I mean, who cares what interest rate? You may be getting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5% interest from banks or CDs. It just doesn't matter because inflation is higher than that. And so as long as the inflation is higher than your return, you're getting poor. Your purchasing power is going down. So putting your money into those places is killing your purchasing power. You're becoming poorer every year because of it. It's the fact. Which leads me to the next problem, the stock market. So what if you say, listen, William, I hear you. The banks do not give me enough of a return to help me offset the cost of inflation. So I understand if my money is in the checking account and in the CDs and in the banks, I understand I'm getting poorer every year. So I'm just going to put my money in the stock market. But here's the problem by doing that. It's even worse because the problem with the stock market is you're not only losing purchasing power, but you can also lose principal too. I mean, that's just... You know what? It just leaves me speechless is what it does, because even JP Morgan warns stocks are in a calm before the storm. This year just came out, earlier this year, the calm before the storm. There's a lot of economists predicting a stock market crash. So we have a top Wall Street investment strategist breaks down why stocks are setting up for a 22% drop in the second half of the year and share 2 signs that show a recession is likely. That just came out this summer. And then in Fortune, we've got the market has a 70% chance of crashing, and it could be an epic burst like the 1929 crisis. So listen to this. You put your money in the stock market. Not only is it not going to return anything close to inflation, if it crashes or if it loses value, check this out. If you had $100,000, you put it in the stock market, and you lose 22% of that. So you lose $22,000 in the stock market, and you're still losing 8% inflation. So at the end of the year, now you've only got $70,000 in purchasing power. So in my opinion, it's even worse than putting it in the banks in this environment, because like I said, you just can't afford to lose principal in addition to experiencing the inflation eating your purchasing power. So, again, I'll just say it. If you put $100,000 in the stock market, you have a stock value. And if it loses 22% in value, and then you lose an additional 8% in purchasing power because of inflation, that is an incredible 1-2 punch that just could be devastating. I've lost money before, and it's sad. It's just sad. Now, in that scenario, you'd be better off putting your money under a mattress. And you already know that. You'd be better off putting your money under your mattress than you would putting it in the stock market. So far on this webinar, what we've covered is the fact that we're all getting poorer. Inflation is eating away the purchasing power of our cash, of our stocks, of our bonds and our CDs. And so even though we might be getting a 2%, a 4%, 6% return on our money, inflation is more than overcompensating for that gain. So yeah, we might gain 6%, but if we lose 8%, our purchasing power is going down. Who cares what the number is in the bank account? The people in Zimbabwe might have had $1 million cash or something in the bank account, but they couldn't even buy a cup of coffee with it. Okay, so let's focus on our purchasing power, not just the cash in the bank. So you might be saying, hey, William, what's the solution? If what I'm doing is not getting me where I need to go, what's the solution? If putting my cash in a bank account or CD doesn't keep up with inflation and kills my purchasing power, and if putting my money in the stock market puts my principal at risk, where can I put my money where I will, number one, keep up and exceed inflation to protect my purchasing power, and number two, protect the value of my principal? You might say, William, do you recommend something I can invest in? And I would say, no, I don't. Personally, I don't know of anything that you can invest in right now that will both protect your purchasing power and protect your principal. So you may be able to invest in a certain stock that outperforms inflation, but you're putting your principal at risk. You hear that? You may be able to invest your money somewhere that could get you greater returns than the rate of inflation, but your principal is at risk. So from my point of view, I don't know of where you can invest. So I suggest you don't invest. Okay? That's my suggestion. Do not invest. Instead of making an investment in today's market, I actually have a better solution than that. And so this solution is going to protect your purchasing power. It's going to protect your principal and grow your wealth. And so here it is. My solution is private lending. Okay? To me, it's just the best of all the worlds. So, and what is private lending? So with traditional lending, you put your money into the bank at 4%. The bank pays you 4% interest. You're getting poorer because inflation is at 8%. And then they turn around and they loan it to me for me to do my construction projects. So instead of doing that, let's do private lending. Private lending is where I borrow the money directly from another individual. So instead of you putting the money into the bank and they're giving you a 4% and then they loan it to me at a much higher interest rate, let's just cut out the middleman. Okay? To buy and build homes, I'd rather borrow the money from private individuals directly. I could pay you 7 to 9% to use your money instead of a bank. So instead of paying the bank interest, pay it to you. So why did I say 7 to 9%? Because in reality, that's really where I'd like to be. I'd really like to be in that 7 to 9% range. It's going to help you keep up with inflation. It's going to be secured by real estate. But now, earlier in this video, I mentioned 18%. Yes, I am. I'm offering you 18% as a way of saying, listen, you don't know who I am. You roll the dice with me. You're secured by real estate. To me, it is the least risky thing you can do to protect your principal and to grow your wealth and to beat the inflation. Over time, I'd like to be in that 7 to 9% range. But, I'm offering to pay a higher interest rate as a way of introducing myself to you. Now, you would loan the funds directly to me. Okay? Instead of going through the bank, you would loan the funds directly to me. I would use it to build construction projects. And so Iron Shield Construction, this is me. I own Iron Shield Construction. I pay 18% interest. I'm going to use that to build entry-level housing and affordable rental properties. Now this interest rate, 18%, is for new lenders during their first year lending with me. It's just a way of me saying, hey, here I am. I'm offering you a high rate of return. Okay, after the first year, you'll know what it's like working with me. Okay, at that point, it's different. When you sit down with me 12 months after working with me, it's a different conversation than, who are you at the beginning. So at the end of the year, we can negotiate a rate moving forward that works for both of us. So how does it work? So number one, you would loan the money directly to me instead of putting it into the bank and getting your 4%. You would loan it directly to me. Your loan is secured with the proper documents. Okay. And then I take the funds and I buy the property with it. I build a house with it. And then you receive the interest plus the payback of your loan. So as these properties are constructed and sold or refinanced, you would get paid back the funds that you right. Now, you have your answer. That's it. The answer is lending money to me to build single-family homes, okay? That's your answer. What it's going to do for you is, number one, protect your principal. Number two, protect your purchasing power. And then number three, build your wealth for a long term. You want to build your wealth for the long term. This is it. So you remember Vince? the beginning of the video, he's loaned money to me for the past 5 years to do my real estate deals. It has added up to be in the millions of dollars of loans. He said, William has paid me on time religiously and has even paid me in full when the situation arises. I highly recommend William Styles as a safe place to lend money and a great place to earn a phenomenal interest rate. And then, again, Tony, William Styles and his real estate investment company has borrowed money from me since 2019. Listen, I've got many years in the construction and real estate industry here in Marion County. I find William to be honorable and a man of his word. I've received an excellent interest rate on my loans with him, and I have felt extremely comfortable along the way. If anyone is looking for a safe place to earn an excellent interest rate, William Styles and his construction company is as good a bet as any. And then Judy, I've known William for over a decade and have found him to be a man of integrity, and I don't say that lightly. William has borrowed money from me to complete numerous real estate projects over the years, and I've always been happy with the experience. I've received a great rate of return. I've always felt safe in the process, and that's important. I want you to feel safe in the process because it's about the protection of principal. Yes, there are probably other places that you can go and get even a greater interest rate than 18%. But I don't know of any place that you could do it and your principal be protected. Okay, yeah, so you may put $100,000 in some scheme somewhere and they lose all your money, or they pay you back $80,000 or $70,000. It doesn't make sense. So with my deals that I'm doing, new construction, for houses to be sold and also for rentals here in Marion County, you're secured by real estate. The loans are safe, and your high rate of return on for your interest rate. So here's a bonus, though. I mean, I'm just pulling out all the stops to make you feel, comfortable working with somebody you've never worked with. But I'm telling you right now, after a year working with me, you're not going to want to work with anybody else. But if you are one of my private lenders, I will build you one of my House F models for my cost, what it cost me. So if you become one of my private lenders, I will build you one of my House F models at my cost. Now, I cannot overstate this enough. Like, this is a huge deal. It really is. So here's an example. My House F is valued at about $250,000 right now, and only costs me about $165 to build, roughly, right now. And so you would get it at my cost. You, being a private lender for me, I will agree to build you one of my House Fs at cost. So then you can do whatever you want to do with it. You can sell it for a massive profit, or you can move into it, you can rent it out, put one of your kids into it, whatever you would like to do. So here's House F. So it gives you an overview. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 2-car garage. It's got 1334 living area, 2,014 total square feet. Again, it costs roughly $165,000 to build right now, and right now the current value is approximately $250,000. You would need to have a lot to build it on. You'd have to get a lot, and so that I could build the house on there. But you'll notice in the main area there, it's got a vaulted ceiling in the main area. And so it's a really nice open feel when you walk into the house. And then also in the master suite, there's a tray ceiling. So this is a super nice house. I would be willing to build it for you at my cost if you're a private lender of mine. So there are some basic restrictions that do apply. I mean, just real basic stuff. Number one, you have to be in good standing with me as a lender for at least a year. So I don't want you to loan me money for a month and then expect me to build you a house, for free, basically, at my cost. You also have to pay the cost to build the house. So meaning I'm not going to pay the $165 to build the house. So you come up with the money, I'll build it, no charge. I'll pull the permits, I'll do all the same subs. It'll be the same quality house that I'm going to sell for $250. I'll build it to you for the cost of whatever it cost me. Right now it's about $165. And also, you will have to have lent me a minimum of $180,000 during the previous year. So, I hate to put this in here, but it's just the truth. If someone loans me $10,000 to go towards a construction project, it's just really hard for me to justify building a house at cost the following year. But, if you are to the level where you can loan at least $180,000 and you've been with me for over a year, I'll build you a house at cost. And then so not only am I going to build you that house at cost, not only are you going to receive the interest rate of 18% on your money and all of your principal back. I mean, it's just such a phenomenal deal. I just really try to think of how can I make this a massive win-win for both of us. But now this bonus is limited to only the first 7 lenders who qualify. I just can't do it for everybody. But if you're one of the first 7 lenders who qualify, meaning, you loan $180,000 as a minimum, you're with me for at least a year, and you have the $165 or so to build a house, then, if you're one of those first 7, let's do it, baby. Now, if that isn't enough, when you become a lender of mine, know this. Okay, whether it's 31 minutes from now or 31 days from now, if you aren't happy, I'm not happy. Okay, if for any reason whatsoever, if you want your money back, you can get it. I only want to borrow money from you if you're happy. All I ask is a 90-day notice. So I need the 90 days because the funds that are loaned to me are put into real estate deals. They're building roofs. They're putting block up on walls, putting flooring in. So if you want to get your funds back, just give me a 90-day notice at any time. I'll pay you back. And not only will I pay all of your money back and pay you your 18% interest, but during the first 6 months with me, I will also pay you an additional $500 for just giving me a shot. So what that means is if you make a loan with me and you're 3 months in and you're like, I'm not feeling it. I don't want to do this anymore. I'm not happy for whatever reason. Not only will I pay you all your money back, pay you the full amount of interest, but I'll give you an extra $500 just for giving it a shot. So I am definitely confident in creating a long-term win-win relationship with us. Okay. Super confident. It's going to be a win for both of us. So let's just get started. How about that? Let's do this. But you may have some other questions. So, for example, what's the minimum loan to get started? I would say, the minimum loan would be probably $10,000. It's not going to fund a complete house, but it'll go towards the cost of a house. You'll be able to, get your 18% interest on the 10 grand. And so, but there has to be at least a minimum because there's work involved, there's paperwork involved. So the minimum would be 10. And then what's the minimum term? So I would say the minimum term would be a year. So let's do a year agreement, 2-year agreement, 3-year agreement. But the minimum would be for 1 year payback. And so from there, like I said, you can get out at any time. But as far as the contract would be a minimum of 12 months. But you can break that at any time by just saying, hey, Will, I'm unhappy. I want my money back. And that wouldn't be a problem as long as I get that 90-day notice. And then also, are the interest payments paid monthly? Listen, I can do this one of 2 ways. I'm totally cool with paying you your 18% interest monthly, or you could just get it at the end in one lump sum payment. I'll let you decide. If you want your monthly interest payments, let's do it. If you want to just keep the interest in, let it compound, and get paid at the end, I'm down for that also. So really, we're coming down here to the end. So again, 18% interest. You loan me money directly. You're not giving it to the bank. You're keeping up with the cost of inflation. You're protecting your principal. You're growing your wealth. I'm going to use the funds to build entry-level housing here in Marion County and also affordable rental properties. I would love to do business with you. If you have any further questions or if you just want to get started, just give me a call. 352-289-1148. That's 352-289-1148. Good to see you again. Now, you have now seen how our money is losing value. And none of us wants that to happen. So, but if you work with me, if you lend your money to me, I'm in a very unique situation to be able to take those funds and build single-family homes, entry-level single-family homes here in Central Florida, and rentals for people. So when you work with me, it's a massive win-win. You get a great return on the money that you loan me. I'm able to build projects that are highly profitable to where I can afford to pay you a great return and still win myself. So let's do this. If you have any questions, give me a call. You ready to get started? Give me a call. That bonus where I'm offering to build a house at cost. I mean, I mean, that's a massive bonus. I don't know what else I can do to show you that I am serious. Let's make this thing happen. So if you're ready, if you feel that calling inside of you, like, hey, this guy is the real deal. Here's the opportunity that I've been looking for, that I have this money. I'm afraid that, it's losing value every day. I want it to stretch over the next 5, 10, 20, 30 years, the rest of my life. Then just give me a call. Let's work something out. Now, 18% interest for the first year. After that, we'll renegotiate a new interest rate, because you will then have experience working with me. But I promise you this, we're always going to beat inflation. We're always going to beat inflation. Okay? So let's do this. Give me a call. Talk to you soon. All right. Bye-bye.